Hello, everyone, dear viewers, responsible citizens of Nigeria, and everyone watching from around the world. Welcome to a better society. Here, we don't just talk about problems; we explore their root causes, what is causing the problem, and practical solutions that, if adopted, will find a lasting solution to what is plaguing our society, especially Nigerian as a case study. So, we want to discuss a very important topic today, and that topic is adapted from questions Nigerian have been asking. So, I will just paraphrase, and later on, I will go deeper into the question. Why do employers often set high standard for ordinary jobs? Why the minimum requirement for our political leaders, those who occupy the highest position in the country, their criteria or appears to be much lower. So, question we're going to be asking ourselves: is that a contradiction, or is it a constitutional problem, or we're asking the wrong question, or we should not even ask? We should just play along. Okay. But the right of a citizen is part of the fact that we should ask why some things are like this, so that if reforms need to be made, then proper reforms should be done. Every year, thousands of graduates leave our university with high hopes. They work hard to earn their grades, complete their compulsory National Youth Service Corps. Then some go ahead to even acquire professional certifications, build skills. Yet many struggle to secure even entry job. So the question is, why do we appear to demand more from applicants than those who seek to govern us? So we're going to just be exploring the typical question that was asked in LinkedIn. Mr. Oluwashin asked the question. He said, in a country like Nigeria, you need a WAEC certificate or a primary school leaving certificate to run for the office of president. But to earn 8,000 monthly, employers may ask you for a degree, NYSC certification, 10 years of experience. You see, then the question is posing back to us. Say, think about it. So that is what we want to think about now. Think about it. How long will this continue? I love one of the answers, one of the comments that was there. He said the post highlighted a genuine concern that Nigeria labor's market. Why constitutional requirements for public office prioritize inclusiveness? Employers often raise higher standards. Now, this is the reason due to intense competition and oversupply of qualified candidates. So, unfortunately, this has led to credential inflation, where degree, certification, all of the rest are more valued better than competence, valued more than competence. So the bigger issue is creating an economy that generates enough quality job and value practical skill. So this is where my analogy is going to be now. Now we are talking about issue of certification, but these two things are very, very related. If you listen to the solution, what the person is profiling, that there should be creating an economy that generate enough quality job, and whose duty it is to create this economy, the great economy, and that will create jobs, so that this competition, even though it will still be there, because competition will never be fixed out. The only thing is that we need more employment to accommodate the large chunk of people that are being produced by university yearly. So now, whether you have been employed or not be employed, so I want to just discuss three major things: standards, good governance, and leadership. So what is standard? Everybody know what is standard. Standard is setting a bar with an expectation that if you come in here, if you must do this, so this is your expectation. So we all have expectations. That is, it means standard is not a problem as far as the Nigeria factor is concerned. So we have certificates and we have competence. So I want to discuss this deeply. So what is standard? Is the minimum acceptable level of quality, behavior, knowledge, or performance that society expects from a person or an institution. Why certificate is the evidence that someone has completed a formal training. Note, Certificate is not wisdom. Certificate is not knowledge. Certificate is not leadership. It is not character. It is simply a proof of learning. So, competence is the demonstrated ability to consistently apply knowledge which you've gained through your formal training or maybe formal or informal training, skills, experience, judgment, and character to produce good results. So we can frame competence as what actually does the job. Now, for those who will be talking about maybe like politicians have lower requirement, this is constitutionally imbibed. This is the Constitution of Nigeria as amended in 1999 Constitution as amended. Section 131 clearly states that requires that a person be educated up to school level certificate or its equivalent. So, and this is for the purpose of inclusiveness. So you must understand this. This is for the purpose of inclusiveness. And even though there is an issue with this is not what you can change immediately. So what do we do? Is it really even about certificate? If we want to ask ourselves, the issue is not really about certificate. The issue is institutional standard. So why do employers require so much for ordinary job seekers? So the question is simple. Unemployment is very, very high. As you can see from Daily Trust, unemployment is very high. So this is the reason why employers demand a high standard from potential employees. So, and again, thousands apply for maybe few or even single positions. So in such scenario, what do you expect? There should be a high-level screening that will be based on whichever factor that you might not possess, so you don't have to be angry. So employers often use certificate as a form of screening tool. So that is just it. And I'm sorry to say this will not change. This will not change. As far as companies are concerned, they will always want the best. This will not change. So the earlier we get used to it, maybe the better. So question that we should ask is, should we demand equally high standard from our politicians? That is a question I want to throw back to you. You can reply me in the comment section. Do we also require this high standard from our politicians? I think we should require this high standard. For example, this is just vacancy. Each time you see a vacancy, this is majorly requirement that is being asked. Most vacancy ask for second class and above in Nigerian. Hardly you will see two below. It is from second class upper above. So only 2 class of graduates virtually qualify. Apart from that, you must have an NYSC certificate. Some will tell you computer certification. Some will even give you 5 years experience as a fresh graduate. It's possible. And another factor is that there is age limit. Meanwhile, Nigerian institutions suffer from a lot of strike, where students, when you start, but you might not know when to graduate. If you're doing a 4 years course, I personally spent more than 5 years studying a 5 years course. So it happens. So this is one problem with Nigeria. And at the end, you might end up graduating at an older age compared to when you're supposed to. So you might not even fit in here again. So these are the many challenges that is currently plaguing the country. Now, the question I asked earlier, is it all about certificate? Or we should demand higher from our politicians, higher standard from our politicians. Now, I want to just discuss about certificate of our past two presidents and the current president. Currently, I think this is from 2009. Goodluck came into 2015. Buhari 2015 to 2023. Then currently, since 2023, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So this represents the two extreme of certification and maybe no certification. Now you can see the first president, Goodluck Jonathan, had a PhD in geological engineering. So should that transcend to good leadership? We should answer that question. Muhammad Buhari, the lower echelon of our map. If we are looking at a map, so why Jonathan is at the top bar, Buhari is at the bottom bar, because Buhari doesn't have a formal education. Then Bola Ahmed Tinubu is, let's say, at the middle of the bar. When Goodluck is here in the certification bar, that is based on formal training. Buhari at the low, then Tinubu, who is the current president, should be at the middle. So we've tested all of these different section of both the upper echelon and the lower echelon of certification. So let's now, I leave it for you to judge. Now, did qualification alone determine good governance when you compare these three individuals? One had good certificate or more, but compared to me, if I ask you a question, what is your competence level from these three? I leave it for you to judge. But for me, none of them, they all have the same grading in competence. No competence. Whether the most educated, the least educated, or the at least educated, all they had no competence. Now, many people assume that higher certificate should translate to better leadership. History does not support that. From just this analogy I've made, history doesn't support that higher education equals to better leadership. By certification, just like we've tested both extremes, some are highly educated governors perform very poorly. You go to Nigeria and just know governors who are even professors are performing extremely below average in Nigeria. So some leaders, even globally, even taking it to the global stage, some leaders globally have modest education yet govern effectively. So likewise, some leaders with prestigious university degree have also failed very, 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 very woefully. So education alone does not just produce good governance. Education alone will not produce good governance. So okay, based on maybe for the purpose of validating, I think this is okay. I was trying to show where okay, president's issue of the Buhari not having the right certificate and Tinubu certificate itself is still being questioned till now. So all these are the challenges that we face. But the question still remains the fact that are these qualification the only requirement that is needed for true leadership? The question is always no. So for good leadership, so if certificate does not guarantee good leadership, then what? What guarantees good leadership? So good leadership entails, this is beyond whether you are educated or not educated. These are things that should be imbibed in every good leader. Integrity, number one. Integrity. So leaders, notwithstanding whether you are highly educated or not educated, a leader should have integrity. Whether you're a leader, citizen, integrity, competence. You should be emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence. We have economic understanding. This is where now, some people will say, okay, no certification. Okay, no certification. Okay, for me, now this is where certification is very important, because when you go for a formal training, even though a formal training does not automatically guarantees good leadership, but it is like an eye-opener. When you go to school is to the end that you get knowledge that transform you to become a better version of yourself. So without formal training, as a leader, without a formal training, you might not understand good economic understanding to bring in good laws. Then building strong institutions. Then honesty. In leadership, honesty is not a bargain. It is highly required. Respect for the rule of law. The capacity to choose competent advisors. So these are the things that we should focus on when we talk about getting quality leaders. So in summary, we should have, what Nigeria should demand from leaders is, one, integrity, competence, visionary, people who are visionary. Then if you are educated, wow, this now becomes like we should double down the person. Accountability, rule of law, we have knowledge. So this is what we demand from them. Then while we cannot just leave everything to the government, but we have a role to play. If we must build a better society, we have a role to play. Just the way we want to demand accountability from the government, the citizens themselves has to play. One, the thing we must stop immediately is we must stop selling our vote. Citizens must stop selling food. Now participate in community meeting, just like what we are doing here. This is a community enlightenment. So we must participate in educating the people. Education is not just all about going to the school. Fathers, educate your children. The community leaders should live by example, so that, because it should be the characters that leaders should at both community level, regional level, should be the one that will translate into national development. Secondly, they should be teach values, build character on students, on children, not the kind of Gen Z types we are producing now. I don't know what the future holds for them. So we must inculcate discipline upon the children, upon the upcoming leader, because children are the leaders of tomorrow. So we must keep learning, keep growing, keep advancing as citizens. Don't be plateaued. Don't plateau. Never plateau. We must keep learning, keep growing, take courses. Then ask questions. Do follow up and hold your leaders accountable. Every leader is always go back home every periodical and maybe periodical time. So demand accountability. Go and know what project has been allocated. For those representing in House of Assembly or senators, there are, when they go for meeting, there are locations. Demand what this money are being used for, especially if you don't see the physical manifestation in your constituency. Demand for accountability. Then we must believe that Nigeria is workable. So with all of this, then we should be able to understand that the problem of Nigeria is not just about government alone. We have a role to play. Get a certificate, get everything. Then government must also, one thing the government should also do is that improve educational quality. We have some regions in Nigeria where people are not educated. The Almajiri system is not helping the country create jobs. This is, we cannot overemphasize it. A responsible government will create jobs. If jobs are available, certification will not, this high level of screening will not be needed. Then we can now leave screening and go into more of competence. Then reforms. Look at what is not working. What do we need to put to make it work? This law is not working very well. Okay, reform. So a government should be open to reform. Then make leadership more of merit based and improve transparency. So this is just to let us know that a better Nigerian is very possible, where we are not just talking about certification. We are going to move away from certification into competence. But if you are educated and you are competent, that is a double gain for the people. So education, I'm not saying education is very, very, very important, because in when you define competence, so is the application, is processing this knowledge that you've gotten in becoming more useful to provide solutions to the nation. So Nigeria's biggest problem may not even be the constitution that set a minimum educational qualification for leaders. I've told you the reason is because of inclusiveness. And if you see, that might be fine. So the bigger problem is that we don't often demand excellence from those who seek to serve in political position. Meanwhile, if you are applying for to be a banker or to work in schools or hospitals, they demand the highest level of competence. So therefore, if you must become a political leader as a president, senator, vice president, governor, we should also demand the highest level of competence from them. Demand the highest level of competence. So yet most, like generally, Nigerians accept mediocrity. I don't want to discuss details of what happened now. So if you look at the calibers of people who bought forms in various parties now, you will check, this is not the way to go. You see people whose life are not even organized just because they are fortunate to be to have funds, and these funds, well, I don't want to go into how it was gotten, perhaps through proceed from corruption. So because the finance is there, So they want to go into politics. Now just imagine this caliber of people going to the Senate or House. What laws exactly do they want to make that will better the life of Nigeria? So political parties and the people must demand high level standard competence from whoever is seeking to govern the entire nation. So a better society is not just built by certificate alone. No, absolutely no. We will not build a better society just by certificate alone. It will be built by character, competence, accountability, strong institutions, and informed citizens who refuse to lower their standard. So this is our take on a better Nigerian. Again, to get a better Nigerian, we must hold our leaders highly accountable to the high standard they demand from those who they want to employ. The same standard should be given to them. I don't care whether you are, because if we say only those who have high level certificate, it will take a long time for that law to be amended. So, but still, we have a right to demand for competent. Those who are competent, character, integrity should be imbibed in the criteria or for those who want to become leaders of our nation. And with this, a better Nigeria is possible. A better Nigeria is highly possible. Please like our video, share, make comment, make your contribution. I will go to the comment, I will read, then improve more on this so that we can keep educating ourselves until that our dream nation, Nigeria, come to pass. God bless till we meet some other time.